When it comes to putting together a stunning home interior, nothing matches the beauty, style, and durability of natural wood floors. And that's why we've installed wood flooring in the common areas of the project house. We actually have over 6,000 square feet of hardwood floor between the first and second floor of our project house. But it's not an ordinary solid hardwood floor, it's actually an engineered wood floor. And to explain more, we've got John Himes with us today from Mannington Mills. And John, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, thanks for having us out, Michael.
Hey, tell us about some of the advantages of going with engineered wood for a floor instead of a solid.
When you look at an engineered piece of wood flooring, what you'll actually see is multiple plies of wood that are glued together in a cross-grain construction, which provides a much more stable platform than a solid wood floor, which can warp or twist or buckle over time.
And where can you install an engineered wood floor?
That's one of the greatest things about it, and what has really led to their popularity is you can install them in a variety of areas, almost anywhere in the house, from below grade to on grade, as well as suspended subfloors.
Okay, below grade would be the basement.
Right.
So even on a concrete like that, we can go down there where it might be moisture.
As long as there's no visible standing moisture on there, we're going to use a moisture cure urethane that actually gets stronger with a little bit of moisture from the slab.
How did the guys install? What were the steps to putting it in here?
Well, really what Terry Fitzpatrick and his team did was they had to get their bearings. So they pop a bunch of chalk lines, because what you got to do is stay very straight and square in an installation this big. So they put down a lot of chalk lines, and then they work from quadrant to quadrant. You have about an hour once you start spreading the moisture cure urethane till it sets up. So what they did is they come in, they put in the quadrants, and then they start spreading the adhesive, and then they come back and start randomly staggering the planks out so that you get a nice random visual as you're looking at the floor. And as they do that, they get them nice and tight, tape them so that they stay right where they are at the time of installation, and just keep working from quadrant to quadrant within those chalk lines that they've put down.
And what did Terry and the guys do upstairs as far as putting the floor down? Because here we have concrete, but there we're on top of wood.
What you do on a wood subfloor or suspended subfloor is you can actually use a nail or a staple, and upstairs we actually use staples that look a lot like this. And we use a gun called the Floor Monster, and what that does is you actually hit about every 4 inches on the groove so that it drives those staples in and creates a very solid feeling underfoot.
Yeah, I think in a tornado, the only thing that would stay together might be that floor every 4 inches.
It should do very, very well.
Yeah. Well, the floor does look beautiful, and I love the color, but I know there's a lot of choices, so let's go take a look in the other room.
That sounds great.
Okay. Well, John, it definitely looks like a lot of choices.
There are a ton of choices, and as we look at all of these wide varieties, the first thing you want to do is look at the finish, because finish technologies have really changed a ton in the last 3 years. When you look at factory applied finishes like we have.
3 years, what's different?
Well, typically 3 years ago, everybody was using a UV cured urethane finish, which gave you an excellent finish. But one of the challenge was the steel wool sort of emulates fast wear on a floor. And as you see, what you'd get in pivot points is you'd actually get intense wear near dishwashers, refrigerators, etc. And what you get is microfine scratching that really tends to mess up the finish of the floor.
Okay.
And what we've done now is we actually have what's called scratch resist. And with scratch resist, you can do that same test, and the particles that are suspended in that urethane basically ward off that microfine scratching. And our goal here is to essentially be able to make that wood floor look new much longer into the life of the house.
Yeah, well, there's a huge difference.
It's absolutely dramatic. There's also a variety of edge treatments, whether it's square edge like we have in the house today, or a micro bevel that actually adds a bit of textural interest to the floor so that you can see that. A variety of options along those lines as well. And the last thing, of course, is the plank width. Do you like a 5-inch visual, or a typical 3-inch visual, or even a 2 1/4 like you have upstairs?
It looks like distressed hardwood.
Absolutely. This is actually distressing that we do in the plant that actually creates a wood look that emulates what would come out of a reclaimed building, a warehouse, etc. You get screw marks, saw marks, etc.
So it looks like a solid wood plank, but you have all the advantages of engineered wood.
Absolutely, best of both worlds.
Well, between the bevels, the width, the species of wood, and the colors, you have a lot of choices, don't you?
You bet.
Hundreds. Just what we needed. Okay.
Exactly.
Thanks, John.
Hey, enjoyed it. Thanks so much.